In the provincial model, we've narrowed it down to three levels of lockdown. There's the shelter in place, which has to do with environmental issues outside the school. So the school needs to have a plan, or the building needs to have a plan to deal with air quality issues as a result of fire, chemical spills, or some other air quality issue. That's the first level. The next level is hold and secure. How does the building school respond to a threat on the outside of the school? Should the police have an incident of a violent person on the outside? What is the school going to do to ensure that no person's going to get in there that isn't authorized? That's a plan they need to have in place. That's a plan they need to practice. And the last level, the highest level, has to do with a lockdown, which has to do when the threat is inside the school or building. That's what we practice today. That's what we trained to do today, and that's what we were testing today was the school's plan.
How did you think the school's plan worked?
They did excellent. We have done a lot of preparatory work beforehand to get to this stage in relation to reviewing their emergency plans, modifying what they had, sitting down with all their teachers and staff, briefing them in regards to what's going on in the province and what we see as the best practices in how to respond to these types of incidents. So all the staff and teachers had been briefed prior to today on what they should do and what they need to do to take charge of their students and ensure their safety.
So tell me about, I mean, you have lockdowns. Lockdowns are a reality. Or we've called them lockdowns. Have they been lockdowns? The others?
That's the other thing we're trying to clarify and get through in the training with regards to all the involved parties there's a difference between a hold and secure and a lockdown. And a hold and secure, again, has to do with the threat on the outside of the building or the school. Business can continue on within the school within reason. Nobody gets out of a test. They still have to do their test. But the threat's on the outside, and that's the big distinction. So when the schools have exercises on the outside and the play fields and the school is put into hold and secure, they need to bring everybody into the school because there's a threat on the outside. The next thing is the lockdown. That's because the threat's in the school, and if you have people on the outside of the school, probably not a good place to bring them into the school. They need to go to their safe place, their designated safe place, and their alternative location so that that can be dealt with.
So, oh, sorry, Kate, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think the students get the enormity of this issue and that it's a real threat for them these days?
I believe they do. They obviously take the training seriously. They have questions, and it's part of the reality what they read in the news and what's going on in their world, going on with their friends who aren't necessarily from the city or who have been involved in these types of things. So they have a lot of questions. I think they do. They wanted to know how to react. And with this type of training, it's some basic principles, answering some of the questions they need to answer, demystifying what they should do in these things or what really doesn't happen in these scenarios, and giving them some practical tips on what they need to do when these emergencies are called.
I'm sure it makes them feel more secure too, because now they know what to do.
Absolutely. Like most things, now that you've got some basic principles, some basic 2 or 3 steps that you need to do, I feel safer. Added with the fact that what we're doing is a result of a large working group in the province that have done scenarios, experienced real calls, have experienced these tragedies, and come up with the best practices. And as a result of all that work, we have this model. This is what is going to work.
And the reality is you need everyone, teachers, students, officers, all need to know what to do if an event like this happens.
We all have these questions, we all wonder what we would do, and through this training and the model, we have developed the procedures that this is what works best in the majority of cases.